What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor early in the morning? Way hey up she rises, way hey up she rises, way hey up she rises early in the morning.
Everybody comes to Hollywood. They wanna make it in the neighborhood. They like the smell of it in Hollywood. How could it hurt you when it looks so good? Shine your light now. This time it's got to be good. You get it right now, yeah. 'Cause you're in Hollywood.
Hi, welcome back. This vlog is going to be all about diversity and inclusion at the Naval Academy. And seeing how the entertainment industry has been struggling with those issues, it seemed appropriate to shoot this vlog in Hollywood.
Everybody comes to Hollywood. They wanna make it in the neighborhood.
I'm standing here, not far from the Hollywood star of Tom Selleck. Tom Selleck is perhaps best known for playing Magnum P.I., who in the fictional world of that show was a graduate of the Naval Academy. Let's start by looking at the numbers. When the class of '80 entered in 1976, 81 of the 1,299 incoming students were women, and 154 of the students identified as minorities. By percentages, women made up 6% of the entering class, and minorities accounted for 12%. Contrast this with the class of 2024, which entered last summer. 30% of that incoming class was female, and 35% of the class identified as minorities. In one of her vlogs, a recent graduate talks about diversity and her impression of how being an Asian woman affected her admission to the academy.
The Naval Academy values diversity very, very much. So I had a lot of advantage when I applied to the academies because I am an immigrant, I am a female, I am a minority. I definitely think that's in my favor.
So since my time at Annapolis, the student body is 3 times more diverse and has 5 times as many women. And while the numbers tell a story of statistical improvement, what's more striking to me is the diversity apparent in the midshipman videos of everyday life at the academy. The following shots were compiled from several of the midshipman montage videos.
I service selected Nukeswell.
I put Marine Cyber. I chose Intelligence.
NSW.
I selected NFL first.
Put Pilot first.
Something else that strikes me about the midshipman footage are the women. There is no sense when watching these videos that the women are out of place or don't belong. This is quite different from the experiences the women of 80 related in their interviews.
We were in an environment where most of the time people were telling us we were fat and ugly and that we didn't belong and that we weren't actually real women at all, because no real woman would go to a military school.
We weren't really always part of the team. And my roommate and I used to joke, because you're not a real man and you're not a real woman, because real women wouldn't do this, you know, because even in plebe summer, there were guys, we were in formation or sitting around in a crowd and they're like, where are we going to ever find some real women? We're like, you know, biologically, that would be us. But anyway, so we would joke around with like, we're the neuters.
They cut off your hair, they put you in men's clothes, and then you're supposed to perform, but also somehow remember that you're a girl and become a woman in this environment.
The class of 81 was like, today, even to this day, you guys, we thought you might help us, you know, kind of mentor us along, and you guys were brutal.
The upshot is many of us felt very alone.
In contrast to the experiences of my classmates, the next vlog shows that women currently at the Academy are more than willing to help each other and share the lessons they've learned. In this clip, Isabella talks about the best ways to deal with longer hair during plebe summer. For context, when she talks about the plebe chop, she's referring to the hairstyle that used to be mandatory for women as plebes.
If you're a girl, I recommend not cutting your hair. The class of 23 and the classes that come after us have the choice to choose if you want to cut our hair or not, and I would definitely suggest you take advantage of that. I don't think having the plebe chop makes your life any easier. If anything, I think it's more of an inconvenience, because when you get dropped, all the hair goes into your face. It just falls on and sticks to your face from all your sweat, and you're gonna have to have clips in your hair all the time. I think being able to put your hair back in a bun is a lot more convenient for the things you're gonna be doing over the summer. If your bun doesn't look great in the beginning, don't be ashamed, because it's gonna get better over time, and then eventually they'll be really nice.
And elsewhere, Isabella addresses wearing makeup in uniform.
Alright, so I just finished doing my hair, and now I'm gonna do my makeup because, I don't know, kind of like having it part of my routine, and it just makes me feel more put together. So I'm gonna use my eyebrow gel.
In contrast to the isolation described by my female classmates, these clips show that current midshipmen feel comfortable sharing common experiences in an open forum. Another area where both the Academy and the military at large have often struggled is in the design of women's uniforms. Barb Garrity recalls some of the issues they initially had with a uniform called White Works.
They were not fitted for women, they were men's uniforms. The White Works, you know, that very loose-fitting uniform we had, they were straight up and down. They were meant for men, which means they didn't accommodate women's hip sizes, and we couldn't get them, you know, over our hips, so we didn't look very military.
And in the beginning, there were even issues with women's undergarments.
And the underwears, I recall, they were these ones that your grandmother would wear, you know, white cotton underwear up, you know, up to your waist, and then these bras, just amazing, big, sort of thick bras.
The next clip, taken from Isabella's vlog on preparing for plebe summer, shows that the Academy is not as out of step as it once was, although there is still room for some improvement.
The sports bras they issue you are totally fine. I would just say the band's a little bit tight. Another extra thing you can bring are extra spandex. Now, bringing extra sports bras and extra spandex really helps, because if laundry doesn't go through on schedule, then you'll have extra undergarments and they're not all sweaty and gross, because you do change multiple times during the day.
But not all the changes in uniforms are seen as improvements. Case in point, the women's hats. In 2018, the Secretary of the Navy decided that all service members, regardless of gender, should wear the same style hat, the style currently worn by men. Until that point, the hats, which are also called combination covers, or simply covers, had been different for men and women. In the following clip, Sharon describes her reaction to the change.
But it's funny because, you know, recently, I don't know if you know this, the Secretary of the Navy demanded that the women wear men's covers. for 2 years, the women of the Naval Academy have to test these hats that don't fit. They're made for men. They can't get their buns. You know, they can have long hair now, so they can have a bun, but you can't get it up because that hat, the way it's designed, and everybody hated it. Everybody. So they were test driving it, but it didn't matter that everybody hated it. This guy wanted the hats, so they stayed, and now all women wear men's hats. It was the one piece of femininity we had. It was the one little piece. Otherwise, everything was made for a man, except for that one hat.
This provides a good example of the difference between equality and equity. The hats were now equal, but in Sharon's view, they were not equitable. I can't leave LA without stopping by the studios of CBS Television City, which you can see behind me. I did an internship here in 1991, right after graduating from film school. And that same year, a classmate of mine from the Naval Academy also began his television career in this same building. His name is Montel Williams, and his talk show ran for 17 years. Before I leave Hollywood, I'd like to make an observation. I think Hollywood and the military actually have a lot in common. If you think of traditions as scripts and uniforms as costumes, it's easy to see the similarities. As we've seen in this vlog and others, the Navy struggles with changes to traditions and uniforms, and not every change seems to be a move in the right direction. Change is hard. And the glare of public scrutiny brings every misstep into stark relief. But I think of these missteps, like the missteps Hollywood has made, as setbacks on a path that's generally in the right direction. The Navy is certainly further down the road now than they were in the late 70s. And they're still working at it. That's all I have for this week. Thanks for watching.